What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Travis. Of course, this is TW Motorsports, and today you can see the sweat rolling down my face. We are in the garage, and yes, we are starting on this swap. So, what I want to do first, obviously I want to clean this up because it's nasty, and I'm not going to put a nasty motor in a clean truck. Well, okay, it's not really clean. It needs washed too. But anyway, I'm not going to put this nasty thing in without cleaning it up, doing some stuff to it. So that's what we're going to start with today. The very first thing we're going to do is I'm going to tackle the wiring harness. Not a whole lot to get it off. A majority of it's unplugged already, but there's some stuff that routes on the bottom here that you can see. I'm going to take all of that off, as well as the battery lines, the alternator hookup, and then the biggest thing I want to get done today is I want to get the heads off. And the reason I want to get the heads off is I'm taking them to a local machine shop. And the only reason I'm doing that is because I just want them cleaned up. There's a ton, as you can see, there's a ton of junk in this motor, and I want them cleaned up. I want them to be milled for flatness, and then we'll put them back together. I'm also going to have them put a set of springs on it, just a set of LS6 springs, which you guys will see obviously down the road as we go back together. But like I said, the very first thing I want to do is I'm going to get the harness off. So I'm going to set you guys up on a tripod here, and we'll get some of this harness out of the way. So I'm going to start with some of the easy stuff like unplugging the harness. And the harness, honestly guys, there's not a whole lot to take off here. Majority of it's already off, but I am going to be tagging and bagging all of these bolts that I take off. So as I go, you'll see me basically putting these in a bag. I've got a bunch of Ziploc bags over there, and I'm writing what they are on the bag. So it makes life a little easier when you're going back together, that's for sure. A majority of this thing, like 15 millimeter, 10 millimeter, 8 millimeter, and 13, did I already say 13? All those, that's about all you need to take this thing apart. Not a whole lot to it. Like stuff like this, I'm gonna put in the bag with the bolt that held them. That was a two-part thing where it held the harness and a ground strap that went to the frame. Some of the ones like these that I can put back on, I don't bag, because obviously if it's there, we know that that's where it goes. But some of them, I don't know, I just don't want to keep in place. Like the alternator, I'm just gonna clean up. But like these guys here that hold the battery connection on, I'm gonna clean this piece and paint it. So need those out of the way. So I'll bag stuff like that. We're getting really close here. Wasn't much left. Parts like this, I'm gonna go ahead and unclip and kind of push out of the way, just because I'm pretty sure, because I'm so picky, I'm gonna go back through the wire loom and either clean it or replace it. So one of the two will happen. I'm not sure which I'll do. That was really all I had to do to get the harness off. Wasn't really hard, to be honest with you. So now we're going to move to the front of the motor. We're going to see if we can get the big bracket that holds like the alternator and stuff. Sometimes the alternator is kind of stubborn, so you have to persuade it to move. Get it out of the way, and then we'll move on to this bracket here. Tight. We'll have to bust that one loose with the brake over. My battery must be going dead because it should have taken that out. I think there's one more. Yeah, there is. On the back here. So we really only have one thing left on the front of the motor, and that is this AC compressor. And there's 6 bolts actually. 4 for the compressor, and then 2 more for the, there might be 8 actually. No, just 2 more to hold the bracket on. Oh, 3 more. There's one back here. Actually, I think before I go to the head, I'm going to go ahead and take these motor mounts off because I'm going to need them out of the way to clean anyway. So just 15 millimeters here. Not very long either. I am going to take my nifty engine hoist for LS motors off first. We're going to need it out of the way. I will say, if you guys do any LS work at all, this is definitely worth its weight in gold. You do have to pull the intake off, which kind of sucks, but man, it makes life so much easier. So for the valve cover, just 8 millimeters. And usually they stay in. They can be pulled out. Chances are I'll probably pull them out because I'm going to clean these up. I'm no way I'm putting it in looking like that. Now I would say it's going to be pretty gross under here. Well, it's not as bad as I thought. I mean, there's definitely some buildup, but not as bad as I thought it'd be. It looks like there's a ton of buildup here though, just carbon buildup. But I'm gonna go ahead and we'll tackle these rockers next. Now we're gonna use an 8 millimeter to take the rockers out of place. I like to lift these out with the rocker stand underneath it. All is one. Just makes it a little easier. I'm also going to go ahead and grab the push rods. And now we'll go tackle the other side real quick, and we're ready to get this head out of the way. So there's two other things that I want to take out before I get the heads off, just because it's a little easier. One of them is this coolant plug, because these heads can be used on either side. The other side will have a actual coolant sensor, but this one's just a plug, and they're gonna have to take this out of the way anyway. So I'm gonna go ahead and get it out, and I'm gonna do the coolant plug on the other side as well. I'm going to start with the 10 millimeters up top here. Get all 10 of them out. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, 10. I don't know why I thought it was more. Then we'll move on to the 15s. Now we'll move on to the 15s on the inside of the head and the outside. I'm going to go ahead and pull this nasty gasket off. Ooh, it's not terrible. I've seen way worse. The cylinders look pretty good. Still see cross hatching in them. Alright, well, I'm going to move to the other side here and knock it out. As you can see, the heads are off, and one of the things I forgot to do, or didn't do when I took the motor out of the truck, was I didn't drain the oil. So I'm gonna let it drip, because I think, guys, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the front cover, the oil pan, the heads, the valve covers, I'm gonna take those all to my machine shop, because they can put them in a hot tank and get them nice and clean. So that'll save me a lot of time scrubbing on those particular parts. So I'm going to go ahead and knock this front cover off real quick. Just 10 millimeter bolts around the perimeter. one other thing, I want to take this oil level sensor out before I get the pan out of the way. So I may let it set a little longer and drain. Man, this oil was dirty. But I think we're going to be okay. I will say I'm going to take the 10 millimeters out that hold the pan in next, and there's long little guys. I think these are actually well, they're a little bit longer to go from the bottom back here all the way up to the top, and then the rest of them pretty short. I'm going to tag and bag those like the rest of this stuff, and I think we'll have everything off. As far as the rear cover goes, I know probably you're wondering about it, but the rear cover I'm going to replace the rear main, and the cover and the main come all as one piece. So I'm just going to do that all at one time. So I guess the next thing you'll see me do here is take this pan out. So now I'm going to take the oil pump off and the dipstick tube. So there's a 10 millimeter that comes into the dipstick tube on the bottom, and then there's another one on the windage tray back here. So I'm going to take both those out, and then we'll get the oil pump out of the way. All 10 millimeters here. Way easier to do with this out of the car. Oh, nope, that one's a little bigger. Maybe a 13. We'll go ahead and get this off. You can imagine doing a cam swap and having to pull this guy down in order to get your new oil pump on, if you change oil pumps or you change your timing chain. It's not real fun, that's for sure. I've done it, but all right, we'll grab a 13 and get that dipstick or the pickup tube out of the way. We might as well take the rest of this apart while we're here. 10 millimeter as well. You can almost pull this whole car apart with a 10 millimeter. Let's get the retainer plate. And that is all we are going to take off. I'll probably take the lifter cups out and the lifters. But other than that, I think that's about it. We're going to have to start cleaning now. So the last thing I'm going to do before I vacuum this thing down is I'm going to take these lifter trays out, and we're going to pull the lifters out. Now I went ahead and did this on the other side, and while I'll probably replace the lifters because I'm in here, they look pretty good. That one has a little bit of scoring on it. So, like I said, because I'm taking them out, I'll probably go ahead and replace them. They probably don't have to be replaced, but as long as I'm in here, well, that one definitely needs to be replaced now. Anyway, as long as I'm in here, I might as well replace them. But the last thing I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to go ahead. I got a big mess here to clean up, but I'm going to vacuum this thing off. So I've got a ton of junk that's just fallen in here as I've taken bolts out, and obviously we don't want that to get deep in the motor. So we're gonna go ahead and vacuum this thing down. So I have it all vacuumed off, and so guys, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a little bit of brake clean and just start going over some areas. I don't think I'm gonna get real in depth today. The main thing I wanted to get done was I wanted to get those heads off so I could get them out to my machine shop. That way I'm not waiting. So kind of what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna go over each one of these pistons, and once I go over each piston, honestly, I'm just wasting time. And to be honest with you, what I'm gonna do is, after I get this towel kind of dirty, I'm gonna use it to clean up oil on the floor. So you don't have to do this. You do have to scrape the deck surfaces off on the head, which I will do. Don't think it's gonna happen in this video, but anyway, like I said, I'm just using these old towels to clean up spots on the floor where all the oil fell out. These are gonna come pretty clean. So I won't make you guys watch all this. I might give you a shot before I don't know how long I'm even gonna do it, but I'll give you a shot of at least one or two of them cleaned up. Scrubbing on one for, I don't even know, probably 5 minutes maybe. Look how clean it came compared to these other ones. So I'm gonna keep doing this, guys. I think this is all I'm gonna show you in this video. I am literally drenched in sweat. I'm literally, the garage is so hot today, and I think that's it. But I'm gonna keep working on this. So I'm not gonna show you guys me cleaning off the gasket material, like using the razor blade on the deck surfaces and whatnot, because you guys saw me do that on the Trans Am, and you've seen me do it on a couple other projects like the ZR1 and whatnot. So I'm not gonna bore you guys with that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna clean this thing up, just get it as clean as I can possibly get it. And what I probably will show you is if I decide to paint the block, and I'm not gonna show you the cleaning of all the parts I took off, because I'm gonna clean each one of those pieces individually. But in the next video, we are going to start yanking the motor out of this. So the next video that you see on this truck will be us starting the process of getting the motor and transmission out of this and out of the way. My dad is actually going to use it for his truck. He has like 400,000 miles on his truck, and he's wanting to upgrade, well, just put a newer version. Mine's a lower mileage motor. I think it's a 150,000 mile motor, and his is 400,000. So he's wanting to use this motor. So you guys, I'll probably show you the video when I eventually put that motor and trans in his as well. But for today, I think we are done. I will list all the stuff I use in the description down below, like always, guys. If you did enjoy this video, please smash that thumbs up button. If you are not subscribed, guys, go down, hit the subscribe button, ring that bell icon. That makes sure you're notified every single time we drop a new video. And well, stay tuned to see what we work on next.